Checking out the Opie and Anthony show. We're already having a great time with George Carlin, and we're just getting back on the radio. Now we got to say all the stuff we were saying during the commercial break there, George.
I'm just watching Fan move the microphone in front of Carlin like he doesn't know how to work a mic.
Oh, Fan.
Trolling for fish or something.
We want to say it to your face. We're fortunate enough to interview a lot of people with this radio show. Sure. And every once in a while, someone comes through that door where we're like starstruck and a little freaked out, and you're one of those guys. And it's only a handful of times this has happened over the years.
Thank you. Now calm down.
Right. We're all obviously huge fans, and we love everything you've done.
Very nice. I really appreciate it.
50 years, right?
50 years since I went into radio in 1956.
Wow.
Top 40 was just starting. Rock and roll was just starting. I was 18. And I had the advantage of having a car down in Shreveport. I was in Shreveport, Louisiana. I was in the Air Force. And I could go out at night and tell the chick, hey, you want to hear a song tomorrow? I'll dedicate it to you. What do you want? You know, it was magic, man. Two paychecks, didn't have to do anything on the air base, just do my show.
Radio's just never changed as far as that goes.
Well, that's why
see it as a way to get girls.
That's why most people got into radio, is for the free CDs. Well, free CDs now, whatever. Free music, and hopefully picking up a few extra women on the side.
And trade outs with the sponsors.
Right. Yeah, the whole plug-ola and the payola.
What was radio must have been a hell of a lot different back then than it is now, especially. Did you have freedom to really talk and say what you want? You didn't have a PD up your...
It was the first stage of Top 40, so personalities were still in play. Mm-hmm. And you had a kind of a persona on the air, and they set your pictures out, and all that. And I was a young guy, so they wanted, we had a lot of young listeners, naturally. And so they wanted to have like a fan club and all that stuff. And the thing about it was our radio station was a daytime. Dig this, it was a daytimer. That is to say, it went on the air in the morning, went off in sundown. Because that was the way you did it, some of them. 1,000 watt. And we had to gain our audience back every morning. And we had a 52 hooper in a 9-station market. A 52% share of the audience in a 9-station, a hot radio market, Shreveport. They had a big CBS station with Louisiana Hayride, had a lot of great radio stations, and we were number one. But we had an owner who hated rock and roll, but he played it. But he also played Ray Anthony and stuff like that. So it's schizophrenic. And you could choose everything you wanted. You had the top 30, you had the newcomers, and then you had oldies and dusty discs and all that.
But it was up to you.
Yes, you can make your own
pick
program.
it. And then what about like talking between the records to get some of your personality in there?
It wasn't just time and temperature and label and artist.
Right.
It was, you talk about whatever you felt like, and you could play around. I used to any live spots, I always had fun with them. I would do them in foreign accents, or I would do them as characters, So, it was a lot of freedom.
Yeah, now oof.
Yeah,
it's a business, which I think Ope says it a lot when he got into it. Even it was a bunch of guys just kind of hanging out, especially FM radio.
FM radio, they hired you because you smoked pot. No, I'm serious. And the album-oriented rock stations in the 70s, especially, they hired you because you were one of the guys, and you would smoke pot and play whatever the hell you wanted, and then someone figured out, whoa, we can make money off this.
That's right.
Which turned out to be a bad thing in the end.
They called it underground radio for a while.
Sure, it was underground radio. I used to listen to old air checks, and you hear these guys, they're completely stoned, looking out the. I mean, you hear it on the radio. They're like, I'm just watching the snowfall. They were just completely gone. And this was CMF. I got to listen to some old air checks, and then you fast forward a mere 10, 15 years, and there's consultants, and there's PDs running in, and the general managers, and it's a whole different ball game now.
And they test everything, and they send out hooks.
Yeah,
they actually have people listen to hooks. To see which hooks they like. They don't bother with the whole record. You like this whole section? Okay, that's a good one.
If you like 2 seconds of this song, our station's going to play it. How ridiculous is that?
I know.
And I was one of the guys when I first started in radio. I was the guy that had to play this little hook for people at home while they were trying to eat.
You did that.
I was an intern. That was my job.
Yeah.
And I would just fudge the results because half these people would be cursing me out, saying "F you," I'm eating, don't ever call again. I'm like, all right, they like the song.
Yes.
Right on the air.
So, and the consultants would take all this research seriously, but they would give it to interns to do. Of course, they're not going to, work that hard at doing that.
Well, it's just another sign of the absolute disintegration and decay of this country. It's been in its death throes, since World War II. It's on the way. It's going away, man. People think it's going away. If you can't smell that, if you can't see that, you ain't paying attention, man.
You've said a lot of things that have been really controversial with some people, and that's one of them. I happen to agree with you.
Yeah.
I think we're doomed as a nation. We're going to go down in history as one of those empires that kind of peaked and then kind of went away.
Overreached.
Yeah.
Selfish, arrogant. And now we have things like tequila lollipops, and I counted. In the car wash about a couple of years ago by now. I counted of all the ways you could change the smell in your car. From things you hang on the window to beads to sprays they had several delivery systems for this stuff. I counted over 200 different things you could do to change the smell in your car, and one of them was called new car smell. And I mean, it's over. Yeah. It's finished. Take a look,
One of my favorite things is, like, as the years have gone on, you're less good at hiding your revulsion for everything, which is what's so... It's great.
Thank you.
I love it. As it's gone on, it's just gotten, just angrier and just less trying to be polite to them and just assaulting the people that are actually sitting in the room.
I want to just, if I may, for a moment, correct the word anger, even though it's an understandable word to use when you describe some of that stuff I do. It's really a disappointment and a disillusionment and a contempt for people, this country, and the human species, either one you want to take, the American nation or the human species. We were given great gifts, this mind, this brain that we have as humans, and the wonderful gifts in this country. And we have squandered them, made all the wrong choices, organized ourselves poorly. We believe there's an invisible man in the sky who's running things, and all we want is the latest gizmo. We want a cell phone that'll make pancakes. If we can get that, we're going to be fine. And it's just absurd. And what it is, it's a frustration. It's not an anger. You intensify it on stage, and it reads as anger. I know that. But I don't live an angry life, and I look at this, and it's an amusement to me. This big world, this big round globe, is theater in the round to me. I'm just here for the show.
And you got an outlet. You could go on a stage and kind of spew what you're seeing out there. And we have an outlet. We get to do a radio show, and we point out a lot of stuff that's going on.
You have the immediacy going for you. You can get right on it the next day.
I think I would go insane if I wasn't able to just go on the radio and talk about all the craziness that's happening around us.
Yeah.
I really do.
We were talking about the news and how it is just deteriorated from, when I was growing up as a kid, you'd see Walter Cronkite on the news. It was a desk, it was a clock, it was Walter. And you pretty much believed him. What he was saying. You felt he wasn't trying to pull something over on you, whether he was getting accurate information or not. He was just reporting the news.
Yeah.
He never got up and danced. I never saw him get up and dance. He never needed flashy graphics, and he never teased what was coming up next with some kind of deadly disease or there's a toy in your house that could kill your child. We'll tell you about it in 4 hours as your kid plays with toys. It's just this thing, this business to get people to tune in and keep tuning in.
Yeah.
It's an entertainment show now.
I once heard a 7 o'clock news tease that said a prominent senator. No, it was during the entertainment hours. It was during prime time, like 8:30, something like that. They said prominent senator dies. Find out who at 11. I wrote it down. It was so
right. Yeah. Hey, we have to play some of these news teases for George. I think he would really appreciate it.
Oh, a couple of the Hall of Fame ones that we picked.
Yeah, we make fun of the local news and their news teases, right, George?
Yes.
And you might want to put the headphones on so you can hear this, or put them closer to your ear there, whatever you want to do.
Okay.
I'm not going to tell George Carlin what to do.
This is a good thing to tell me what to do.
Yeah. But what we do is we collect all the news teases that come into our show, and then we make a Hall of Fame.
Oh.
The best of the best so far. Okay? We've only been doing this this about 2 years, and I think we got like 6. We'll play a couple for you, like this one.
One city wants to pack all their sex offenders into a 3-block area. Problem is, it could be right next to your house.
All the sex offenders, 3-block area, right next door to you.
Right next door to you.
In a 3-block area. Small city.
Right. That's fantastic. And who's running on that platform?
Yes.
Like, who wants to do that?
Yeah.
We will have the sex offenders. Every one of them.
In one 3-block area.
That's great.
And then you got this one.
How a twist on the predator law could shut down religion.
Let's hope so.
Yeah, please.
But just one little twist, and that's it for religion.
That's it.
That's all it's going to take after all these years, right?
The complete anarchy.
Could frequent hiccups be a sign of cancer? Watch News 8 at 10.
That's on the money. It's always that fear of your health.
And the music, they got that. That's the Exorcist music.
Yeah. Is it?
Like playing underneath. It sounds exactly like Tubular Bells or something playing under there.
We can't get enough of this, George. Here's another one.
Are you normal? Thursday at 11 on News 8.
You're normal.
Don't go by us.
What a set on these.
Doesn't that sound like something from Kentucky Fried Movie or SNL? But it's really the news.
Yeah.
We only got a couple more real fast.
Could your house be making you fat? Tomorrow, CBS 2 News at 5.
We collect these like baseball cards. They are just too much fun to own.
And we take it very seriously. We debate it on the air. Should this one be in the Hall of Fame?
Yes.
We're not sure.
Yes.
You know, it takes a lot to get to the Hall of Fame.
And the ingredients in shampoo that can make a boy develop breasts. Tonight at 10.
Give it to the girls.
Send them to the neighborhood with the sex predators.
Might as well
the 3-block radius.
Might as well play it out. We got 2 more. This one.
Go, yeah.
Sex offenders may be in your house.
In your house?
Especially if you're one.
Right. And then finally.
The problem solvers have uncovered sexual predators sent to live in our nursing homes.
Do you really know who's living down the hall?
Could this happen to your mother?
Just the thought.
You sure they're not making fun of themselves?
They gotta be at this point. Just the thought of your mother being ravaged. That's pretty much what they wanted you to get.
Yeah.
Your mom's laying in a nursing home, barely breathing, and being ravaged by some predator.
By some predator that you didn't know about
That's unbelievable. What a great project.
When did it happen? It's like, and I talk about the downfall of the society the whole time. I'm constantly saying we're doomed.
Yeah.
We're doomed. But I don't know what did it. Is it the nation as a whole with getting greedy? Is it just the leadership? Is it political correctness? The world just opening up and getting more info? You know, it used to be kind of us against the Soviets, but then when information started being spread a little more easily, they kind of figured out what was going on. I don't know.
No.
But it's just it is depressing and just disappointing.
It's kind of entertaining when you look at it, though. You know, when you're born in the world, you're given a ticket to the freak show. When you're born in America, you're given a front row seat. And some of us have notebooks. And that's as simple as that. You and I, all of us in this room, we have notebooks, and we make little notes. Some of the freaks are self-appointed. Michael Jackson, Mike Tyson, there's certain ones, and other ones are thrust into it. Leona Helmsley, it's just an interesting thing to watch. I mean, from the standpoint of personalities alone. But I don't know. I think it's a cascade,
Yeah.
It builds on itself. And they say, hey, as you say, it reminds me of a line from Firesign Theater. Hey, we can make whiskey. Hey, we can make money, like you said. That once they find out there's an extra $1 or $2 to be squeezed out, they do it.
Yeah.
You have this great, I'm sorry, George, you have a great knack of taking the way people are thinking and just really making you doubt your own point of view. Like with voting, it's such a brilliant point you made about how people say, you can't complain if you don't vote. And then you point out how, like, the people that voted are the ones that put these people in office.
Yeah.
So you have every right to complain because you're not a part of it.
You stayed home that day. Of course I'm complaining. I didn't do this. It wasn't my work.
The greatest ability to narrow everything down to one simple, beautiful point, like anorexia. I think it's probably my favorite thing you've ever said is anorexia. Rich C's don't want to eat. F them.
Yeah.
I mean, what a beautiful, accurate thing.
I had a friend in my neighborhood, Jack Heaney. We call him Billy Heaney. He was Bill John. And he